Hi, this is Saksham and welcome to this video in which we are going to learn that how you can install Kali Linux inside your VirtualBox. So there are a few things that you need to know before you get started with the installation of Kali Linux. First of all, you at least need to have 20 GB of free space in your system. Secondly, you need to have at least 2 GB of RAM in order to run Kali Linux, but 2 GB is recommended as per the documentation and into the dual boots as well. But in order to run it very smoothly with high performance, I recommend at least 4 GB of RAM inside your system. You also need to have at least i3 processor with AMD 64-bit, and 64-bit is really compulsory out there, else you will face a lot of conflict among the tools out there. And also, I would quickly like to tell you that Kali Linux is developed by Offensive Security. Earlier, they came up with Backtrack, which was also a good collection of tools were there inside that operating system. And before that, a lot of security auditors were having a great hustle, while doing the security audits, because first of all, they used to install the Linux, the different flavor of Linux, maybe Ubuntu or something like that. And then they used to configure the tools related to security audit. And then they used to get started with the security audit process. But these folks at Offensive Security saved a lot of our time while doing the security audit, because Kali Linux comes up with a lot of tools that are already configured inside their operating system. So which is a good thing out there. And also this is going to be our attacker's machine, which means we are going to configure a lot of lab inside this operating system. And also we are going to initiate most of the attacks from the Kali Linux only. So this is going to be our attacker's machine in this course. Also, I would like to tell you that it is following the Debian standards, which means that it is following the Debian related repositories. So which is why it is going to be Debian based. So these are the quick points that are going to help you out while installing the Kali Linux. But definitely there are a lot of different variable. Kali Linux is coming up with different choices of the installation. So let me first of all go ahead and I'll Google for Kali Linux, and I'm going to go ahead on kali.org, the first thing popping up after searching on Google. And you can see that you'll see this button here which says download. But as soon as you'll click on it, you'll see plenty of options in order to proceed with the installation. So first of all, you need to know that which installation suits fit for your need. So first of all, they have the option of ARM. So in ARM, you have Raspberry Pi kind of options. You're gonna, use the external hardware where it is easy to, adjoin the processor or maybe the monitor in Raspberry Pi like external hardwares. So this is for them. And then you have a bare metal edition. Bare metal is used for the direct access to hardware, which means if you are going ahead with the dual boot, then definitely you're going to go with the bare metal methodology, where they are going to give you the .iso file that you can easily configure. You can also use the Rufus. You can burn this ISO inside your USB drive as well, and you're gonna install it manually. So we are gonna go with the bare metal methodology. That is going to be the hardest one out there. You also have the option for virtual machines. I'll show them by navigating them to you straight away. So like I told you, you are gonna go with 64-bit architecture. You're not going to use the first one out here because they comes up with untested images with the latest updates, which means there are high chances that you can face a lot of bugs if you will go ahead with the first option. So every time you'll have to go with this second option, that is for the installation with complete offline installation, where you will get .iso file that we are about to configure in few minutes. You have other options as well. For example, for the virtual machines, you can directly install this file for the VirtualBox, which will again come up in the OVA file or maybe for the .vbox file, which will save ton of your time. For example, let me just go ahead in the launcher and I'll show you that how you can directly import the virtual machines very easily, which is going to save a lot of your time if you are going ahead with the virtualization methodology. So first of all, you're going to click on new and you're going to name it as virtual test, or you can just give any XYZ name that you wish. For the type, you know that it is going to be Linux. For the version, like I told you a few minutes back, that it is going to be Debian 64-bit. and you're gonna click on continue. You're gonna give it a little bit more space, somewhere around 2.5 or 2 GB, or you can go somewhere, but there should be a good room for the green space out here so that it cannot feel suffocated and it may not slow down your operating system. You're gonna click on continue, and when you're going to use the third option, like there are three options: do not add a virtual hard disk, that is not going to help you out. Second option, create a virtual hard disk now. So this is for the manual methodology, in case if you are importing the ISO file, which we are going to learn in few minutes from now. And the easiest way is that you just click on this use an existing virtual hard disk, and you're gonna browse and you're gonna navigate the file that you have downloaded just now from here. So this is the easiest method to import this file, and within few minutes your Kali Linux machine is ready to use. But if you will go with the compliance of security audit, first of all you gotta have to install fresh Linux OS, you can say. So which is why you need to, if you wish to go with the security audit standards, then you need to know that how you can manually install VirtualBox, and maybe if you will use dual boot, it will help you out there as well. So which is why in this video we are going to learn it the hard way by installing this bare metal methodology with the ISO installation. And I'm really happy to see that they are expanding it till the Apple M1 chip, so which is a good thing out there. And also after this virtualization technology, I already explained you about the ARM like Raspberry Pi, and Pine 64 is also good out there, and Banana Pi is also good out there. So these are the external hardwares where you can definitely configure a lot of things. You can manually get your monitor or the chipset or anything can be done manually into these hardwares. And also it is also available for the mobile phones these days, but it is available via NetHunter app, and I do not recommend using them using Kali Linux under your mobile phones, because that is not going to make you a professional ethical hacker out there. And I'm really happy to see the wide range again, like it is all available for OnePlus, Xiaomi, Nexus. But one thought that keeps me worrying that mobile phones are not as powerful as your systems are. So definitely it is never a good approach to get started with the mobile installation. And also you have the cloud versions available. Like a lot of people are hosting these VMs and the Kali Linux over the cloud, so that they can just open a URL and can access it. So which is a good solution out there. A lot of people are hosting their operating systems or their VMs out there over the cloud, which is a good option. You don't need to use your hardware, you just need to configure your Kali Linux somewhere over the cloud and you can use them at any time. Also you have the option for containers like Dockers. Docker is a very good technology out there, and there you can configure the Kali toolset, which is a good thing out there again. And also you have the live boot that I definitely do not recommend, definitely not for the beginners, because you can burn in these live boot under your USBs, and you can plug in the USB and you can plug in and work. It's like that. So as soon as you will plug in, you can start using that operating system. But if you'll make any changes, then it will not save these kind of changes inside your USB, which means whatever you will do after plugging in the live will be vanished as soon as you will unplug your USB, which is definitely not a good solution out there, not at all for the beginners. And also you have Windows Store for the Linux. So this is also a good option out there. But by learning it the hard way, we are going to go with the bare metal methodology. So let me go ahead and open up my VirtualBox. So I'm going to navigate towards my launcher and I'm going to click on VirtualBox so that VirtualBox can open up. It's here right now. So right now I'm going to click on new and I'm going to give it a name of Kali_Linux. And also, as you know, that its type is going to be Linux. Version is Debian 64-bit, like I have just now recommended you a few minutes back. And I'm going to click on continue. I'm going to give it a space of nearby 3 GB. Make sure you keep a little bit space of green space so that it doesn't get suffocated, and appropriate memory size is being allocated. You're going to click on continue. And right now you can see that we are going to click on create a virtual hard disk now, because I'm going to burn in the .iso image right now. I'm going to click on create, and then like I told you a few minutes back again, that it is going to export us into the various different formats like VDI, VHD, VMDK. I'm going to click on continue with VDI, and I'm going to click on OK. And then I'm going to click on the dynamically allocated size, because if I'll go with the fixed size, and suppose if I'm going to install any software, then there are high chances that they won't get installed, or I'll face a lot of errors out there. So I'm going to click on dynamically allocated. And it's really hard task out there to resize the space later on. And I'm going to click on continue. And then I'm going to give it a size of nearby 20 to 21 GB, 22 GB nearby. And this is what I recommend after installing a lot of softwares out there. You're going to click on create, and you can see that my Kali Linux is now powered off but yet ready to go. I'm going to click on start, and it will say that, hey, you have this empty file over there. So after looking at this empty prompt, you're going to navigate under your file where you have installed, or you can say under your file where you have downloaded this bare metal 64-bit Kali ISO from here. So I have this under my download section. So I'm going to click on add, and I'm going to go and navigate towards my download section, and I'm going to navigate and look for kalilinux.iso file, and I'm going to click on open, and I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to click on choose. And then I'm going to click on start, and let's see if I'll get started with installation of Kali Linux, because it is going to test a lot of your patience out there. So you have different options over here. You're gonna go ahead with graphical install and installation with speed synthesis, and these guys are doing the great job in making things to the next level. But yes, graphical install is going to be here for our solution out there, and it is now trying to mount the ISO file that we have just now opened up. And now it is asking me to select any language, that is English in this case. I'm going to click on continue, and country is going to be India in this case, since I'm sitting in India right now. I'm going to click on continue, and the key map to use is going to be American English for the keyboard, and you can also use the British English as well. And I'm going to click on continue, and again it is going to give us at least 30 minutes to complete the whole installation period of this Kali Linux. So we'll be staying a little bit more than patient while installing this. Okay, so here we have our host name right here. You can give Kali as a host name, or domain name you can give it as a home, and you can click on continue. And full name for the new user, I can give it as Saksham without the capital S, and I'm going to click on continue. Username for your account is going to be Saksham. I'm going to click on continue. I'm going to give it a password. So any good suitable password should be out there. And again, I'm going to give it another password, and I'm going to click on continue. And then again, it will start writing more files inside my system. Okay, so here you have to use guided use entire disk, and I'm going to click on continue again. And we only have one options to choose here. So I'm going to click on the first option only. All files in one partition. Definitely I'm not going to go with any manual settings since I haven't yet done any. And this is also recommended for the new users. I'm going to click on continue, and then I'm going to click on finish partitioning and write changes to disk. And again, it is going to take a lot of your time. So yes, I'm going to click on yes, click on continue. Okay, so now we can also customize by choosing the different desktop environment. So GNOME and KDE Plasma, we can also install this while updating and upgrading our Kali Linux. So right now I'm going to go with default here and I'm going to click on continue. And then again, it is going to install some more softwares. Alright, so it took me about half an hour to install this file, and finally it is asking me to install the grub bootloader on my primary drive. So yes, I would like to install my grub bootloader now only, and I'm gonna go with the only option that I have. I'm not going to enter my device manually, so I'm going to go ahead in the second path. I'm gonna click on continue, and then again I'll wait for a few seconds in order to install my grub bootloader. And finally, I can see that it is on the final level. It is just finishing the installation, and I guess I'll have to wait for a few minutes more. Alright, so it took about 45 minutes in order to complete this installation. At times, just giving you a pro tip, you will feel like things are stuck at some times, or things are not moving further, but let them be. I waited like half an hour in order to complete this installation, so keep more than little patience, and in order to reach till this end level of installation. So here you just need to click on continue, and then you can see that again it is asking me to reboot the system, and I'm gonna go for the first option, and let's see if my Kali Linux is up and running fine. So this is the load up screen of Kali, and I'm gonna click on OK in order to get the access to microphone. And here I have set the user along with the password. So Saksham was the name of the user, and I guess this was my password. I'm gonna click on enter, and as you can see that we have successfully logged into the first screen of Kali. So this was all about the installation of Kali Linux. Trust me, it's not that hard to do things manually. It takes a little bit of time, but yes, you can do them manually pretty much easily. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll learn further about the implementation of penetration testing. But that's it for today. See you into the next video.